take the Danish advice. There is no such thing as bad weather, only a bad outfit. Sometimes sunlight can be annoying. Right now, the sun is in my eyes and I'm finding it hard not to squint. I'm sure you saw in the previous video that I did, the sun was in my eyes quite a lot and I had a frown on my face most of the time. But the practical annoyances of the sun, unfortunately, keeps us out of it far too often. You see, there are things that we have to sacrifice in order to spend time in the sunlight. We have to leave the office a little earlier. We have to set aside the books. We have to leave the comfort of our homes sometimes and get outside. Sunlight is one of those things that God made right in the beginning at creation. It is part of the New Start acronyms that we have been discussing over the last few series. We have been talking about all the different elements for health that God created right in the beginning. Water, sunlight, fresh air, all of these elements are things that He put in place to sustain life. But we have to make the choice to access those resources. Sunlight is an essential part of our lives. We cannot survive without it. I'd like to share a quick experience with you. We spent a few months in Denmark, and there was a period of time where for approximately 8 weeks the sun appeared through the clouds maybe 2 or 3 times. The absence of blue skies and sunlight for about 8 weeks or 2 months was unbelievably challenging. I had no idea that one can become so dark and depressed just through the dim light in the absence of sunlight. Sunlight has been known throughout the ages to be something that is necessary to sustain life, but in our modern day and age, science has proven over and over that the absence of sunlight causes havoc. When people do not spend enough time out in the sunlight, the result is atrocious. Low levels of vitamin D have a tremendous amount of effects on our health. It affects our bone density, it affects our immune system negatively, it certainly affects our mood in a very negative way. The lack of sunlight affects so many different processes in the human body that I cannot even begin to summarize them in this short video. Vitamin D supplements is one of the most profitable $1-million industries in the world. And I don't deny that there are times when supplements are necessary. I certainly should have been taking vitamin D supplements in my time in Denmark when we had months on end where it was overcast, completely overcast for the majority of the time. But the reality is that most of us actually have access to free sunlight every single day. The vast majority of us can access this life-giving resource without spending 1 cent of money. We have to make that choice. We have to actually take the time to do it. Now, something interesting that I find that goes along with accessing sunlight is the fact that when you access the free resource of sunlight that God created, most of the time you also get some extra benefits. Spending some time out in sunlight usually means that you also get some fresh air. It usually means that you get a little bit of extra exercise, and depending on where you are and what your environment is, sunlight can be a tremendous boost to your health. 1 Peter 5 verse 8 says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because the devil your adversary walketh about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour." The devil will do everything that he possibly can to distract us, to keep us occupied, to keep us seated at that desk in the office, to keep us out of these natural resources that God has created freely for us. Why? Because he does not want us to be sober. He wants us to be depressed, to be distracted, to be occupied and preoccupied with everything that takes our minds off of our Creator. But God is calling us today. He's calling us out into the sunlight, out into the light of truth. He's calling us to the truth of His Bible and the Word of God so that we can drink up and soak up the light of life. When I discuss vitamin D with my patients, one of the first things that people will mention to me is, "Doctor, I have been diagnosed with osteoporosis. I have to be on vitamin D supplements." I want to reiterate that one of the biggest causes and probably most important factors for treating osteoporosis is actually a lack of exercise. A lack of exercise is responsible for far greater effects on osteoporosis than vitamin D levels. And even in the presence of ample supplies of vitamin D, your body is not going to increase your bone density if you don't stimulate it to do do so. And the best way to stimulate your bones to become harder and stronger is through exercise. So exercising on a regular basis in some good sunlight is probably one of your best cures for osteoporosis. But I also should mention that when it comes to osteoporosis, your diet plays a tremendous role in this, and not just in the elements of vitamin D. A plant-based diet is known to be the best diet to reverse osteoporosis. Eating regular supplies of whole foods and plant foods actually gives your body the right nutrients and keeps your blood in the alkaline state. The use of animal and dairy products is one of the top causes of osteoporosis, even though milk and milk products are often marketed as very good to keep your bones strong. This is absolutely false. Regular intake of milk and dairy and all animal-based proteins metabolizes into acidic substances, which stimulates your body to draw the calcium out of your bones into your bloodstream as a buffer to work against all of that acid. And the result of regular use of animal and dairy products in your diet is actually that you leak calcium out of your bone marrow into your bloodstream, and that is then ultimately excreted. So if you want to increase your bone density, if you want to work towards stronger, healthier bones, reduced risk of fractures, and of course for children, also for the development of bones as they are growing, your primary focus should be on a whole foods plant-based diet and a lifestyle that includes regular exercise and of course healthy doses of sunlight. The more time we spend outside, the greater the benefit of the light that we get. The light is not only beneficial when it penetrates into our skins, but the light is beneficial even coming into our eyes, and our eyes have receptors in them that draw benefit from the presence of natural light. Seeing the natural sunrise and sunset can even have positive effects on people's sleep and improve insomnia problems. I want to encourage you, no matter where you are, take the Danish advice. There is no such thing as bad weather, only a bad outfit. Get the warm clothes on if you need to. Get the umbrella out if you need to. But spend time outside in natural light, in natural sunlight, and get as much of that free resource as you possibly can. If you have found these videos beneficial, I want to encourage you to share them with your friends and family. Share them with people that you know may need some encouragement to make healthier lifestyle choices. May the Lord give us wisdom. May He be with us. May He teach us on a daily basis how to access the free resources that He has created.